Hi friends, I'm Anna Helman. I'm so glad you're here today. I love to share tips and ideas for making your card making more fun and easier. I heard from a stamper one time that she was trying to get into card making and she was so confused and everything was so complicated, and she found one of my tutorials and she finally she was ready to give up and quit and not do it. She found one of my tutorials and she thought, I can do this. This is what I want. I want to help you to make beautiful cards that you can share with your loved ones, and I want to help make it fun and not confusing for you. Today, what I'm going to share is 10 tips for simple cards that anyone can make. Even if you're on your own, you're at home learning by yourself, you can do this. 10 tips for simple cards. At the end, we'll chat about life like we always do. I hope you'll stick around for that. Let's get started. To create these cards today, I am using a new collection of products called Beautiful Gallery. It's a whole product suite. There's this beautiful paper that goes with actually 2 stamp and die sets, beautiful motifs, gallery blooms. It has some ribbons, some embellishments that go with it, but these are just the prettiest products. And it made it so very easy for me to create beautiful things with it. It was the perfect set for me to share these tips with you today. So here they are. Let's get started. Tip number 1, keep your cards simple. We love to overcomplicate things with layers and stamps and tools and all the things. This is one of my favorite things to do, is just stamp a little cluster of something onto a card base. I have no layers here. This is just the card base. Stamp a little cluster. I used this Gallery Bloom stamp set. I love when you're getting started or you're wanting to make simple cards. I love stamps that you can pair several stamps together in the set, like flowers or leaves or butterflies, something like that. And just pair several of them together. Add a tag, super easy. Now there is a die cut on here. My sentiment tag, I do have some ribbon here. As we go through, I'm going to share some tips with you for making all of these things simpler. But tip number 1, keep it simple. Tip number 2, find some beautiful papers. And these that are more of like a scene instead of just a pattern or a print. So I would call this a pattern or a print. I would call this a scene, right? So some of these papers that have the scenes, they can do all the work for you. Now you can use a basic print and do the same thing to make this very simple card, but it just has a little bit more of an effect when you have more of a scene. So number 2, find some pretty papers. You're going to see some more of those beautiful papers here as we go along. Tip number 3, use a tag box. This is my tag box. I have shared about it several times recently. It is a fishing tackle box. I like this one in particular because the dividers are removable, and maybe not simply, but they do come out, and I could rearrange these to fit my tags. I've organized them in here by category. Thank you, thinking of you, love, birthday, congrats, wedding, or sorry, baby, congrats, wedding, birthday. I've organized them. I have them on hand. It makes life so much easier. So on all of these cards that you are seeing, I didn't create the greetings for these cards. I pulled my tags out of my tag box and it saved a ton of time. So that is tip number 3. Keep sentiment tags already prepped and ready on hand to make it easy to create cards quickly. Tip number 4, texture stamps. So the Beautiful Motifs set is one that has texture stamps in them. In my opinion, and with my type of crafting style, these texture stamps are ones that you will use over and over and over again on nice projects. Just by adding a little bit of texture to something, it really has a lot more of an effect, and you're going to see this on more of my cards as well. So we will actually use these texture stamps in a moment. But here you can see them. You can see I use this one along this edge and on this edge. Just kind of sets off that lovely piece of paper in the background. And then I put the tag over top. Number 5, no bows. Does anybody love to make bows? Bows are great. They're beautiful. A lot of people struggle with bows. And as you're seeing, if you, as I go through here, I have several cards where I've used ribbon, but no bows. I do have a tutorial where I shared lots of ways to use ribbon that that are not bows. I will link to that in the video description below, but no bows. We're keeping it simple, friends. Tip number 6, no coloring. So as you see this, a lot of times images like this, like these florals, it's an outline image. We think we need to color them in. But some of my favorite cards that I create are where I just stamp them in a single color and I leave them not colored in. So 6, no coloring. Now let's say you really want to do some coloring. So I'll give you a tip here for tip number 7 on super simple coloring. I've shared lots of tips on simple coloring before, like using blending brushes to color it in, or water painters where you're just kind of like watercolor. It's very simple watercoloring, but you don't have to stay inside the lines because watercolor is not supposed to stay inside the lines. Okay, so here is another tip today for some super simple coloring. I'm using 2 colors. I have Peach Pie and Greeny Apple Green and my texture stamps, and I am only going to ink up part of my stamp, and I'm inking up a certain amount for a certain reason. So I'm just inking up about enough to go over these flowers. So I've stamped my flowers in a light color. I believe it was gray granite. I'm gonna stamp these twice. I like when sets come with a texture stamp that is designed to use with this technique in mind. Now I'm going to do this with my green, and this was not designed for this reason. You may be looking at this like, I'm not sure what I think about this, but even if this isn't exactly your style, it's an idea that you can keep in mind that, you know, maybe a set will kind of line up and those texture stamps will be in a size or shape that can really work nicely with some of your stamps that you may not want to take the time to color in. So just to set off the center of these flowers a little bit, I brought in my orange marker just to make them stand out. But there's lots of ways to color super simply. This is one that I wanted to share today since I have not shared this idea for quite a while, but a little bit casual, carefree, different style, but nice way to color that doesn't take much time at all. Tip number 8. You've been seeing die cuts as we go through here. Let me pull them back out. You can see several of them. I have these. This one, you're gonna see, I think you'll see another one here in a minute. But so die cutting can be something that can definitely take more time as you are crafting to find the die set that you want, to, you know, do your stamping if you are stamping, lay the die on, crank it through, pull it out. If there's little pieces, sometimes there's all the pieces to deal with, you know, all the things. Die cutting can be time consuming. Tip number 8 is to die cut one time. So here's what I did. I didn't know exactly what I was creating with my projects, but I pulled out the floral dies from this set. I stamped this one. This was the only one I stamped. And then I pulled out several of those little detailed dies like this one. I had the one die. I really like this die that does. So it's this die right here, this one die, cut both of these frames. So I laid that on there along with the florals, and I was able to do all of my die cutting at one time with the white paper. So you don't have to have all your projects planned out to know what you're going to die cut. Just die cut several pieces, have them on hand and ready, And with that die cut, with my tag already prepared for my tag box, I use that beautiful paper, a few stamps of that texture stamp, and we have this lovely card created very quickly. Tip number 9, I love to stamp solid, I shouldn't say solid, but stamp backgrounds of those multiple stamps like I was talking about on my first card, just to stamp a few stamps together. Spread them out, stamp the whole background, and it makes a great background for a lovely card. So here's another one of those die cuts I had ready. No bows. Just pull a little adhesive down and wrap that ribbon back and forth. This card came together in no time. Tip number 10, beautiful special backgrounds that you can just do something very simple, but it's so pretty and so nice that it stands out and you don't have to do anything else for your card. The dies in this set, the one that goes with the beautiful motifs stamp set, these are very interesting because this die and these two leave the cut attached to the surrounding paper, so you get this effect. I did not realize that when I was looking at them initially. These actually cut the paper out. You saw those on some of my cards. This one leaves it intact, so I was able to die cut that one. I used a blend. I could have left it the way it was. I used a blending brush just to add a little bit of color over top. What a beautiful background. I just added a little ribbon and a tag, and this came together very quickly as well. So I hope these can help you to make some beautiful cards today. Friends, sometimes we just need to think simple and get the complicated out of our head. That statement I just said, I think, has inspired today's life chat. Think simple and get the complicated out of our head. How, oh my goodness, how much easier life would be if we would keep it simple and get the complicated out of our head. This applies to so many things, so many things. I'm thinking of, I've been on a special diet for almost 2.5 years now. I have eaten pretty close to no processed food. I have eaten 0 sugar that I am aware of. Crazy, right? Crazy that this has happened. I do eat honey. I eat honey, and some days I eat my portion of honey because I deserve it, because I want to, because it keeps me going on this diet. Okay, not really. But I eat quite a bit of yogurt, and sometimes I'm somewhat plentiful with my honey. But so thinking about this diet with, sometimes we make things so much more complicated than they need to be. So how have I eaten the diet I'm on is called the GAPS diet. Look it up, friends. The book's by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. Gut and Psychology Syndrome, Gut and Physiology Syndrome. They have explained everything I ever need to know about wellness to me. It all makes sense to me, and it's not what the world is going to teach you about health and wellness and healing your body. Anyway, but I'm thinking about like not being complicated. Okay, so how have I eaten meats and vegetables and homemade dairy and some fruit? How is that what I have eaten for the last 2.5 years? Well, friends, sometimes we need to keep it simple. So in a lot of cases, what do we eat in the evenings? We eat a meat that I have seasoned with seasoning. Not sauces, not all the things you could buy that make it easy or whatever. I have learned some really basic seasoning mixtures. My favorite one is garlic powder, paprika, salt, and pepper. You take, how much is it? I do like a tablespoon of salt, half that much garlic powder, almost that much paprika. So like a teaspoon of paprika, let's say, a teaspoon and a half of paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and like a half teaspoon of pepper. I don't know, something like that. We do lots of variations of these things. I don't measure much anymore. I just kind of dump stuff in, and that has become me and my cooking. I have become such a better and more inventive cook through this diet. instead of relying on all the easy stuff and the cream of mush or cream of whatever soups. And I haven't been able to do that, so I've become much more inventive. But in a lot of cases, I keep it simple. We have a meat. We can have pork chops. We can have chicken, any cut of chicken, legs, wings, breast. Do you know, friends, how much our bodies need fat? We have been preached to low fat, low fat, low fat, chicken breast. I've lived on chicken breast for a lot of my life. Low fat, low fat. Our bodies are like craving the nutrition that comes in fat and animal fat and healthy fats. Yeah, I'm going to try and focus here. Keep it simple. So a meat and a vegetable. So we might have a salad. We might have, I raised lots of carrots in the garden. We're still eating last year's carrots, believe it or not. So roasted carrots. I love to roast vegetables in the oven. They are so good that way. Anything roasted in the oven: asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, butternut squash, sweet potatoes. I'm not allowed to have sweet potatoes on my diet right now, but sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, all the things, Brussels sprouts, yum. Okay. So so we've been taught to cook with olive oil because it's healthier, right? The vegetable oils and the things, we got to stay away from those. They're not doing good things for us. Olive oil is great, but my teachings, which I believe, are that we should not be heating olive oil. And we should, so for like salad, dressing on your salad or something, that's great. Olive oil is great for us. But heating with it, we are cooking what you're going to start hearing more about this. I may sound like a lunatic right now as I say this, but we are to be cooking with animal fats, tallow, lard, all the things that they have told us are going to kill us. Not true. Not true. All that processed stuff that they're giving us in the grocery, the vegetable oils, the seed oils that like put that away, all the processed stuff that's all ready for us. Oh, friends, it is not doing good things for our bodies. But if you would like more information on this, I direct you to either the GAPS diet information or the Weston A. Price Foundation. Search for that. He was a dentist 100 years ago who did all kinds of amazing research that a lot of people have been following and living by. These diets that people who are untouched by the world, who are still living on unprocessed foods and were as healthy as could be. He studied all these people and then put together all this information, all these links of all these people in different places eating lots of different things, but they're all as healthy as can be. So he did all this research. There's still a lot of information out there from that. There's a cookbook called Nourishing Traditions. I've only been able to look at it a little bit so far. I'm hoping this summer to dig into that a little bit more. But these are the things I trust as information to follow for my health and wellness and for my families. So keep it simple, not complicated. Healthy meals don't have to be complicated. Sprinkle some seasoning on some meat, stick it in the oven, sprinkle the fat of your choice onto some vegetables on a pan and some seasoning on that, stick it all in the oven. An hour later, it can be ready. Keep it simple. We just make things so complicated, Like, we think we have to keep up with the Kardashians and all our kids have to be in 29 activities, and they don't. We just have to make an effort to keep things simpler, prioritize. I don't know. I have no idea what this was about. We just talked about all kinds of sort of things. So if it interested you and you're still here, or you're like, man, this lady's crazy, so you're still watching along for that reason, whatever. Thanks for being here. I hope you'll be back again next time. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I appreciate you. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you will be back again next time when I will be here helping you to hand make with love.